3, 2, 1.
The following Pulpery podcast is brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. Welcome to the Pulpery Politicscast with Brock and Ben. This podcast is where we discuss the political headlines that intrigue us and all those little jerks that enrage us.
So I was going over political things with the wife the other day, like I usually do in the afternoon, and she just kind of goes, which is fine, because we're having conversation. I love her to death. I scared her when I told her that Donald Trump is going to be our next president, which that could happen.
Yeah.
That was just the other day. Previously, it was a AI-generated copy of a copy named Mike Johnson being the Speaker of the House.
Right.
That is his real name. I swear to Christ. I wish I was making that up. Second to the president?
Yeah.
How does that work? Why? And I know we've talked about it, like they were in their standstill, and I think he was getting elected while we were on the air, or while we were recording. But...
Or it's like the day after, yeah.
Yeah. How the... Okay. I still can't grasp the fact that this fascist from Louisiana, and I could say that, I fucking live here and have lived here for a very long time, is the Speaker of the House. Please help me understand.
Well, I mean, I don't, I'm not a Beltway insider, so...
God damn it.
But my idea in it is that, so he checks all the boxes for the MAGA people.
Right.
And then the other part is that because he's so new to Congress that the veteran Republicans think that they can manipulate him. That would be my guess.
Or they know... Go ahead. You were just about to say what I was going to say.
They know because of everything that they've done over not just the last 2 months.
You can go back to
the 70s. Well, I mean, once... Well, no, not even 80s, that. Going 80s. Back to, getting control of the House and literally doing nothing with it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that, I mean,
and that's just in this past 2 years.
Yeah,
yeah, nothing.
Is that they have resigned themselves to that they may possibly lose power, and again, it's during a presidential election, which usually favors Democrats.
Yeah, it's just still.
But it depends on what candidates are out there running. But it's almost kind of like just throwing in the towel a bit, and then hoping that they can cause disruption.
The distraction.
If the Democrats get a thin majority in the House.
I don't know their whole. I just, between the Supreme Court and now this cat. Although, Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about throwing him out already. All because he just...
Well, she's on the news going, nobody likes Republicans anymore. And being like, why are you giving free ads to the Biden campaign?
And
who is your PR person?
She was saying the same things that...
Hakeem Jeffries has been saying that.
Exactly.
They don't get anything done because they can't even figure their own shit out. Because they can't figure
their shit out, which is what I think Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan, and all of them are like, well, we can't get anything done because of these assholes, but it's their fault that these assholes won't listen to us.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that 45% of the country is okay with that.
Well, because they're so entrenched with their team that as of right now they don't really care. But
Well, and that's another thing I was going to get to. Finish.
But it's, and we've talked about it before. I mean, this goes back to Newt Gingrich and how they tried doing that thing of they would criticize Democrats for doing these terrible things, but then they're doing the same exact thing, if not worse, behind the scenes.
And that has snowballed to what we see today. And don't get me wrong, Democrats do some horrible shit too.
Sure. But Republicans accuse Democrats of playing into culture wars, but it's not Democrats who are bringing up, kids that might want to go by different pronouns. Or they're the ones bringing that up. They're the ones making gun ownership an issue, and that it's always that it's somebody's mental health. But it's even as crazy as you might be, if you can't get that automatic rifle,
then you're violating your rights.
Right. Or some crazy person is still going to kill as many kids in a school if they have a knife versus a gun. Physically, or a car. Science doesn't prove that right.
Well, I was headed to science because everything has evolved from there, right? Like the whole smoking thing. Everybody smoked in the 70s like it's Paris in 2023. And then that slowly, people were like, oh, okay. And now we don't have cigarette ads on TV or a cartoon camel selling cigarettes. The vaping industry has tried to get back into that. But that's because an entire generation of people went, yeah, that's kind of bad.
Right, yeah.
Seatbelts. Same fucking thing. People went, fuck your seatbelts. And now it's that's we should probably be wearing seatbelts. Yeah. It's just all these registering a car.
Imagine that.
Cars can kill people. Yeah, and they're registered.
And you have to have not only do you have to register the car, you have to get a license to operate it.
And you have to go through training.
Yeah.
And then you have to renew that.
You know what we should do? We should start lobbying that you shouldn't need licensing to operate a forklift. That's our right as American citizens.
No. I go with, I need, a nuclear turret on my house.
Sure. You know what? I don't need a license to practice medicine.
Nope.
Yeah. I should go digging around in your body parts whenever I want.
You can.
Yeah.
As long as I'm dead. Although...
That's my right as an American.
Correct. And if the guy... If that corpse threatens you in any way, you can murder it.
Yeah.
Well, that's all because... Did we score again? I hate everything about hockey right now.
But that's where... Let's come back to our neck of the woods, in which, in the last year and a half, I don't know how it got defeated, but there was the concealed permitless carry was put up in our state house, and somehow there was enough backlash to go no, and that
I think a lot of it had to do with it was not as red as it is now.
Right.
That's a fucking interference.
But every person on the Republican side in Louisiana running for governor was talking about how to stem crime, particularly in the big cities,
right,
where brown people live, and so their solution to all the murder in New Orleans is let's have undocumented guns.
Correct.
So anyone can carry a gun concealed. And you don't have to register it at all. That's going to solve the murder rate.
I can't believe we went to gun control with Mike Johnson. You know why?
Well,
because the giant talking point is all those mass murders happen in gun-free zones.
Sure, yeah.
So this cocksucker...
Have they been to New Orleans? Where's a gun-free zone down here?
And everybody loves to point to Chicago.
Yeah.
When Shreveport, Louisiana is on that list, and I'm pretty sure that would be Mike Johnson's district.
Well, no, he gets...
No. I think it goes... I think
or does it cover Bossier?
Yeah. It does.
But
like,
Shreveport proper is out of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like everything, not the CBD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, no, like, my point in going to that is there should have been something that concerned the residents of Louisiana. Like, not just New Orleans, not just Baton Rouge, East and West, and not just Shreveport, but the entire state. And 36% came out to vote. Yeah, I know.
I didn't vote because I'm...
But you're not nearly 70% of the state.
No.
Large chunks of that. Again, Shreveport should have gone blue, but it was red.
Completely.
And that's where...
It's so crazy because, like...
This is a chance to shit on the Democratic Party, is that they do not pump any money. They just give up on this state entirely.
Well, they do that in all
Even
of
though
the
we
southern
just had
states.
a Democrat governor, we had a Democratic senator for several years.
Ever?
Yeah.
Well, it's... In today's world, it seemed like forever. It was probably like 18 months.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
But apparently, we're not worth spending any money on advertising.
Look how close the Mississippi race is right now, and I guarantee you, I have more money in my bank accounts, plural, than they spent campaigning for the Democratic governor.
Yeah.
In Mississippi.
Right.
You're right. And I understand the swing state thing. I get it.
But in case in point, like, this is where they don't think about it, but like the demographics in Kentucky are changing. Lexington's growing huge. Paducah's got like a weird artsy scene. Like you're talking about, like the western corner of Kentucky, like nestled next to, northern Tennessee, southern Missouri, and Arkansas, and yet they're like, hey, live and let live.
Hey,
what the fuck do we care, man?
Yeah.
So, like, this whole idea, and that's always been my problem with, like,
a lot of places.
Yeah, but that's my problem with, like, the Democratic Party is that if it happens organically, they take all the fucking credit for it, but they don't try to do anything in these, like.
You should lean into that grassroots.
Right.
Lean into it.
Yes.
Look what happened here, and we were able to make change. This started as nothing. 4 counties. It's got 100,000 people. Look, we made change in this one district.
Right.
Like, see how easy that is everywhere? Like, that should be the message, but it's not.
Right.
Because the Democrats eat babies. is the problem.
Among other things.
Okay, Tommy Tuberville. We saved the best for last, you fucking douchebag. Okay. After all that...
I think it's safe to call him a cunt. I'll go
after
out there
all of that talk about how divided everything is...
Yeah, the one thing that unites.
If the one thing that unites is a failed Auburn football coach... Don't give me his record. Did he win a national championship?
No.
No, he fucking failed. If everybody unites to say you are a stupid cunt and I don't know how you got here, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And especially because there are 2 major wars going on that we're going to talk about next, going on, that we need military minds, career military minds, who have spent 50 years studying this shit, experts.
We also don't need the existing ones dying because they're doing triple
7 people's job.
Yeah, quadruple duty.
Exactly. All because of one cocksucker.
Yeah,
one failed Auburn football coach.
Yeah.
In the SEC, you failed.
We want to take this time to thank you for supporting the Pulpery Podcast. We are available on all podcast platforms, so please follow us and turn on the downloads. You can always delete them later. If audio is not your thing, we are on YouTube. Check out our page and hit the subscribe button, like our episodes, and share with all your friends. Follow us on all the socials for our latest content, and additional takes on the latest stories and news. If you need a change for your taste buds, go to thegdsauce.com and change the way you think about the way you eat. From their signature goddamn sauce to their ghost pepper sauce, they have everything you need to rethink condiments. Help support an independent business by getting rid of your same old condiments and boss up with the goddamn sauces.
Okay, serious question. Are we witnessing genocide over there?
I mean, as best as I could put it, to be polite about it, let's just say this.
Tap dance around it.
So they are, minimum creating a gigantic humanitarian crisis.
Correct.
That, Egypt has said, we're willing to help these people out, but we can't take them. And you're talking about several million people who lived in,
this room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Effectively. Now,
those that haven't been fucking bombed
right
to the moon.
So then it just falls to what are you talking? Which version, or does that equate to genocide in that which you forcibly remove an entire group of people from an area in which they have lived for generations
and saying it out loud?
Yeah.
I get it. We had 2 towers, thousands of people murdered. And, we saw what our country did.
Yeah.
Rangers won again. So
we played into what the terrorists wanted us to do.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like they did this. They were willing to do this, which is what terrorists typically do. They're willing to, from all the way back to the kamikaze until the Vietnam, till suicide bombers, they are willing to do anything to provoke a response and then turn around and go, see?
Yeah, we told you so.
Right. We're not so bad, even though we cut off heads of babies.
Sure. Well, again, by any means necessary for them. So
right.
I was discussing this with somebody else, and the part that irritates me about this is that you have 2 groups of people, Israelis and Palestinians, that I think on the majority of the whole want to find a solution so that they can coexist. And then, but this idea, and Netanyahu has been, I don't want to say he's really good about it because it's very blatant.
Yeah.
Even sometimes he comes out and directly says it.
That's what I was saying a minute ago.
If you oppose me, you're anti-Semitic. Yep. And that's a problem with theocracies. You
can't really say the quiet part out loud.
Right. It's we
know anyway, but
the world, and that includes the Islamic world, should be able to criticize a government.
Yeah.
And you're not criticizing a race or a religion of people. And
we just criticized a government in our last segment.
Right.
Which is fine. That's the whole...
And remember, Mike Johnson is a biblical constitutionalist.
Correct.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Originalist?
No,
I've heard that word now tossed around.
Yeah, that's... Don't get me started.
Is that new?
No.
Really?
It's not traditional, but...
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Fucking assholes. I love how they twist history.
Yeah.
I know nothing. Well, I know enough about history. I dabble. I moonlight as a historian, as I work as a fucking... Never mind. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's... So I think the thing is that there's plenty of people out there that... And whether it's Netanyahu or it's his Secretary of Defense being we're going to destroy these animals.
Yeah, I don't know whoever let them say or write that. Yeah. No, this is fine. The whole world will be completely okay with you saying we're going to fucking murder everyone.
Yeah.
My thing is,
and then of course
was it Iran who
the bombing of the refugee camp didn't help their case either. So
well, by any means necessary.
Right.
Both sides.
Exactly.
But now you've got Iran has specifically said, like, out loud, that if the U.S. gets involved, they will regret it. I'm paraphrasing here, right?
Sure.
That's correct.
North Korea has said that in the past too about other things, but like, well, and
we know okay. Look, we can connect the motherfucking dots. Back.
Yeah.
Are we done?
No, we're not.
Okay, great. I was gonna fucking say it. I didn't even just talked about
fucking
the dots.
YouTube throws ads and everything. I got to find another timer. But,
we can connect the dots back to what's happening in Ukraine too, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean you have Putin supports the Iranian regime that's in place right now. That is also when I haven't read the stats on it or anything. I can't say it's the majority of the Iranian people, but you have protests against their own government, and what happens to those people? They get put in black bags and shipped off and never returned.
Happening here,
right? Which of course, Putin's going to support that. So is Xi in China going to support that?
Which it's funny because now we have circled completely back around to Mike Johnson and what happens.
Your Johnson.
Yeah, Louisiana's Johnson, apparently. Fucking
He's
douchebag.
all our Johnson.
He is a douchebag. He has a made-up name and dead bodies in his backyard.
He also has sideburns with no beard. Stop.
Yeah, what is this, 90210?
Stop. Yeah, what are you, Luke Perry?
He's Luke Perry who likes to diddle little kids. So what happens... Allegedly.
Anyway.
So what happens in the interim, or even before 2024, if one of these other countries, whether China's secretly doing another, just what happens if we're provoked? That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, I mean,
what is the grand old? I guess it all depends on.
Well,
who's
I
in
mean,
charge.
let's summarize what we've seen so far, which is what we've shown to the world is that our military is in disorder because we cannot promote proper people. We have top positions that are vacant, meaning, and so the only person filling that position is the person who was under them, and now they're having to do 2, 3, 4 times the jobs
because the other people have already retired and moved on.
And then the organization in our government that does spending says, yes, we'll give money to this if we cut funding to our tax collecting system.
And everybody else.
Knowing that the Senate, including Senate Republicans, will never vote for that.
Absolutely not.
So you're just going like...
So we're at a standstill.
Right. We are a joke to the rest of the world. And not in the normal sense. Like, I mean, even what Venezuela has to be looking at us right now and going like, well, at least we got our shit together. Right? Brazil
can say the same thing. One way or another. Just like...
Our fucking dollar is worth nothing, but at least we're not going through, like,
We're not...
We had an insurrection, but
we're done with that. Like, that is so 2020 at this point. You cocksuckers can't even get it together.
We got Bolsonaro out of the country.
Right. He's probably dead, and nobody knows.
Sure.
Yeah. We all. Well, that's the thing. Like, then what happens to our allies?
Yeah, Burma's laughing at us.
Which is terrible.
So, yeah, it's just like...
And then the allies, NATO.
Yeah.
What are they going to... Are they just going to be like, you know what? You're on your own.
Well, I mean, in part, that's why you have... I would think that Poland is kind of pulling back from their... what used to be like 150%. Like, we're giving you everything. Because they're not either being subsidized by us or they're not being supported by us. Right.
They sustain themselves at this point, and they are in a very precarious spot.
Right.
Maybe they should just turn it into the Swiss.
Well, hopefully, I mean, like, but that's the thing, like, take something like that. We just got Finland to come off the line.
Right.
And join NATO. And then now we're pulling these shenanigans. And again, this is supposed to be, as you pointed out, the GOP. This is supposed to be the military first party. And yet they are restricting the military in terms of its command and restricting the military in terms of its finance.
It's almost like Miss Minutes has them in a golden box, our military, and are crushing them.
Yeah.
Tommy Tuberville.
Right.
Failure.
And for what? Like, it's...
That's what I don't understand.
Tuberville's never... I mean, whoever's... And that's the other part that bothers me, too, is... Like we were talking about with, like, MTG and shit like that. Like, who's on their staff? Like, they're not Donald Trump. They're not, like, constantly... I mean, maybe that is the case. Like, somebody goes, hey, I wouldn't do that. And they're like, fuck you, you're fired.
Right.
Bring in the next person who's like,
because,
yes.
You know why?
Genius.
Interns exist.
But... I mean, even Cassidy Hutchins had the wherewithal to be like, hey, I'm going to start taking notes of this shit.
Well,
and then B, when she's called, to be like, let me tell you what
don't
Mark Meadows did.
Give a shit. They are truly, you know what? I admire them for their I don't give a fuck attitude. Like, if I could not give a fuck as much as they do without being terrible human beings,
right?
Because they don't give. They are truly nihilists. That's what they are. Yes.
Well, I mean,
they don't believe in anything.
Sure, but that's because like they are. Or I would sit there and say is that if they were pure narcissists, then they would definitely be on a sociopath.
Right.
But they are definitely solipsistic, in which they believe everything revolves around them. And when it doesn't, they get upset about it.
Which they believe in nothing.
Yeah. I believe in nothing, Lebowski.
I believe in nothing, Lebowski. We believe in nothing. Is that a nice marmot? Yep. That's exactly it. Do you know what this is, Lebowski? Sorry, I don't play golf. All right.
But yeah, it's weird too. Like, it's the America First Party, but then they're seemingly intent on destroying at least what we have now, since the Civil War and since World War II, have come to know as America.
Right.
Which, of course, then it begs the logic train that you would get on for that is that, so their idea is to get the United States back to maybe even pre-Constitution, to the Confederation.
Yes, America first.
And that states are completely independent of each other and can do whatever the fuck they want.
So here it is the way it is now. Supreme Court and government is their excuse. We give states
everything,
the autonomy to do whatever the fuck they want, right? Which is their whole, like, limited government. Cool. Understand? Fine. But to turn around and shoot themselves in the dick with everything else that they do is beyond me. And should be beyond any, in my mind, any human being that has any... What's the word? Not necessarily empathy, but just help me out here.
Basic ethics.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like knowing that being egotistical is not a good thing. That
I was trying to teach my daughter this the other, like just
manipulating other people for your own gain is not a good thing.
No, like especially because you want to be a democracy. Like, no, it doesn't revolve around you. Cock-sucking cunts.
Yeah. Well, and I'll see if I can do it quickly. There was a very... I've cultivated our TikTok page. The following Pulpery podcast is brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments.
Pulper is a privately produced podcast by Brock Ryder and Ben Grimmie. On social media and photography by Beck Ryder. Original music by the Heisenberg Compensators.